head coach Bob Bradley. Just a reminder, when we get into the question and answer period, please use the raise your hand button. Bob, I'll let you start when you're ready.
Looking forward to an important match with the Galaxy. It's been good to have a couple days in training. I thought yesterday was an excellent training session where we could push things in ways that in this last stretch we just haven't been able to do. Possibility, we'll know more tomorrow when we see guys about how some guys return to the team. So a lot of questions given the situation, but excitement about the match.
Thanks, Bob. And our first question today to John Rojas. John, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks, Ben. Bob, you just mentioned that a little bit about the guys that you expected to come back, but in the case of the internationals, they came healthy and they're ready to go. You need to see something out of them before taking any decision?
They're healthy. What you have to do is look at the last 3 weeks and figure out how much they've done or how little they've done. And then when we get everybody together tomorrow, then we can start to figure out what our best way to go about things for this match will be.
Thanks, John. And our next question to Katya Castorena. Katya, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, Bob. On that same line, I wanted to know if the players that were injured, if there's someone that's been medically clear that could come back for the game.
I think that Tristan and Carlos are possible for some minutes in this game. I think they're the only two that fall into that category. I'm not sure off the top of my head if I'm missing anyone, but those guys have been doing more and more in training. It's good to see them being more confident, and I'm hoping in the next stretch we get those guys back on the field.
Thanks, Katya. And our next question to Alicia Rodriguez. Alicia, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Bob, the Galaxy are coming off a last-second win, but they beat LAFC the last couple times out. How are you feeling about the matchup coming into it? Obviously, before the win they had, the Galaxy had been struggling quite a bit on the field.
We know that every time we play the Galaxy, it will be a hard-fought match. The history between the two teams, even though it's not a long history, has had some incredible moments. And I think every player looks at the matches versus Galaxy in a different way. We understand how much it means to our fans. So that's the focus.
Thanks. And next question to Josue Lopez. Josue, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Bob, as always, thank you for your time. You mentioned about the importance of facing the Galaxy. In that regard, is there something different on a week previewing a game like this? Like, what is the atmosphere like on training in preview a game against the Galaxy? And what is your feeling about having two of your players being called to international duty once again? What are the pros and cons in that sense?
There's always extra excitement in training as you get closer to a game with the Galaxy. So I mentioned at the start of the call that yesterday was just a good day because it was set up that we could really push training and make the tempo faster. And I was very pleased with that. Today, smaller field, training wasn't as long, but still quite sharp. So I think that speaks to the excitement that everybody has for the game. Yes, the next international window will be another challenge for everyone. International windows, even in normal years, are challenging. And this year it becomes even more difficult because of the quarantines and the different measures that must be taken. The most important thing in all of it is to continue to remind players about being responsible and being disciplined. That together with that proves itself then when we continue to test negative. The confidence that we can show up every day, keep pushing training, know that the season is near the end, playoffs are coming, so there's a lot to play for.
Thanks. And our next question to Tom Bogert. Tom, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Coach, nice to speak with you. I'm going to kind of make you rehash about the internationals coming back again, but are you able to give specifics as to whether all 4 of those players are available, or if not, which ones are?
They're all available. The things that are being weighed on our end is just, as I mentioned, how much they've done in the last 3 weeks. We've been able to do individual training, and some guys push very hard in individual training because they know, even though they don't like it, they know that that's what they need to do in order to be ready to play. So we'll assess all of that, see where they are tomorrow, and make decisions. But they're all available.
Thanks, Tom. And our last question for Bob here from Gio Garcia. Gio, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Bob, how's it going? Got
Joe.
a big game this weekend on ABC. I think it's a great time for the MLS in the league. I know last week Latif Blessing, he was not feeling well. Is he feeling well this week, and will he be available for you guys?
He was back in training today for the first time in a while. So it's good to see him back on the field. And like some of the others, we'll assess. He's missed a number of days. We were fortunate that all his different testing for COVID, and also just generally when a player's not feeling well, sometimes you've got to run some different lab tests. Everything's come back fine, and so we are hopeful that whatever it is that he was fighting for some period of time is behind him, and we can get him up and running in a good way again.
And on Jesus Mourinho, I know I had the understanding that he didn't train with you guys. He just went straight into the game with this past weekend. What are some of the things that you've talked to him about this week, and maybe to potentially sharpen? I know he's kind of in a difficult situation to just come in and get to learn his teammates in your system.
Yes, for a player who didn't train with the team, we thought that Jesus played really well. And now you get some chances in training to work on some small details in terms of the way we organize defensively, some of our build-up ideas. He develops a little bit more of a understanding with different players. So it's been great to have him in training and he's shown that his concentration in training and his commitment, those are at a high level. So very pleased with just the way he's handled everything, stepping into a team and immediately contributing.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Gio. And that'll be it for Bob today. Have a great day, and thanks for your time. And we're now joined by LAFC forward Danny Masovsky. Danny, I'll start this off with, just give us your thoughts on one, again, having an actual full week to get in training before this big game, and then talk about the game against the Galaxy on Sunday.
Yeah, it's big time, to have a whole week to prepare with this year, with how many games we're hit with in such a short amount of time. So to have a full week to game plan for them and their strategy and their lineup, it just gives us a good week for preparation. So, yeah, we'll be ready for them. And it's a big game. Our fans know it's a big game. We know it's a big game, and we're going to be ready for that challenge.
Thanks, Danny. And our first question to Alicia Rodriguez. Alicia, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Danny, I wanted to ask about jumping into the rivalry this season. Was this something that you kind of followed before you joined LAFC? Did you talk to teammates who were familiar? Did they kind of get you used to this particular rivalry, or kind of explain the importance of it, or anything like that coming into the team this season?
Yeah, I mean, before I was at LAFC, this was the biggest rivalry in MLS for me. This was the game I always watched. Like, no matter what game was on TV, like, this is the game that I always paid attention to. And then coming here and being part of the team, I feel like it even amplified another level of how important it is, because, we want to win that game. This is for LA, and we want to be that team that represents LA, and we want to be the best team here. So, yeah, it's a big rivalry, and, we're going to give it our all to win it.
Thanks, Alicia. And our next question to Damian Calhoun. Damian, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Doing good.
What's been the differences over the last 2 games with the Galaxy as compared to the first time you guys met them back in, what was that, July?
It's just different environment from Orlando than playing in our home stadiums. And then in terms of, I don't know, it's hard to say between what game. There's so many different circumstances from game to game, whether it's a week from now or when we play them, 3 weeks later, whatever it is. It's just a different environment every game, so we're just taking it week by week, and it's in the past. They beat us twice since Orlando, but we want to get one back, and we want to set things right.
Thanks, Damian. Our next question to Gio Garcia. Gio, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Danny, how's it going? Big game this weekend against the LA Galaxy. I know the last 2 times have not gone your guys' way. With this being a classical rivalry, how much more of an emphasis does it feel like around training this week leading up to this match?
It's just been intense in training. We know it's a big game. Everybody knows it's a big game. We want to, secure our spot in the playoffs, and they're fighting to stay alive. So there's so much on the line this game, and we know they're going to come out on fire. So we're gonna try to, not only match that, but even bring it another level, because we want, like I said, we want to win, and we want to be the best team in LA.
Thanks, Gio. And our next question to Josue Lopez. Josue, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Danny, thank you for your time. In this really strange season, there have been many absences. One's been because of international duty, others for injuries. Despite that, you have been stepping up, scoring important goals. How is that for you personally? What is the feeling you have in that regard?
It's good for me personally, but for anyone right now, there's opportunities for a lot of guys right now with the injuries and international duty. So it's time for everyone to step up and perform. You're on the team for a reason. Everyone's on the team for a reason. So when your name's called, you want to go in and perform and help the team win.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our last question for Danny here from Fred Altieri. Fred, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Danny. Just to follow up on the last question, what have been the challenges up front with
Yeah, it's like you said. I mean, every game it could be a different front 3. So we just try to go with it. That's why we train, to learn chemistry and try to translate that on the field. There's going to obviously be some miscommunications because we haven't all played with each other, in games with that game experience. But we're trying to learn from training and do our best in the games.
Thanks. And that's going to be it for Danny today. Have a great one, Danny. and we're joined now by Jesus Murillo. Reminder, we're gonna do Spanish questions only for Jesus. Please have your hands raised. We're gonna start with John Rojas. John, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you, Ben. Chucho, si podrías contarnos un poco la experiencia del debut, teniendo en cuenta todos los elementos, el viaje el mismo día, no haber entrenado con el equipo, jugar en terreno artificial, y luego lo que te han comentado del partido de esta semana y lo que suele ser este clásico.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Espero que estén muy bien. Fue algo muy rápido desde el comienzo cuando me di cuenta que iba a venir al club. Tuve casi 4 días en Colombia sin entrenar. Llegué acá y entrené 10 días aparte, solo. Cuando me dicen que tengo la oportunidad de competir, creo que estaba preparado, he venido trabajando tiempo atrás muy bien, cuando entrené solo me preparé muy bien, era una bonita oportunidad, era un bonito rival, sabíamos que era un partido importante, un partido difícil. Entonces el profe me pregunta, le dije que sí estaba para jugar, que tenía muchas ganas de competir. A pesar que no había compartido con el grupo, lo había visto entrenar, tenía idea más o menos cómo jugaba, qué es lo que le gustaba al profe. Entonces fue algo muy rápido, pero contento. Se hace difícil por los viajes que son el mismo día del partido, viajes de casi 2 horas, pero daba tiempo para descansar, para poder estar a punto a la hora del partido. Se llegó a la ciudad de Portland, todo tranquilo, se pudo descansar, se pudo crear un buen ambiente con el grupo, con los compañeros. Entendí lo que el profe quería, por ahí me dijo que estuviera tranquilo, que fuera de menos a más. Eso traté de hacer, traté de aportarle al equipo. Sabíamos que era una cancha difícil por el césped sintético, pero se pudo hacer las cosas bien, se puede seguir mejorando demasiado, contento por el punto, creo que es revalidarlo ahora el partido local, ahí es donde el punto de visitante suma, ahí se ve la importancia, sabemos que se viene el clásico, un partido aparte, en todas partes del mundo, sabemos cómo son los clásicos, creo que acá no es la excepción, sabemos los resultados que se han pasado tiempos atrás, pero ahora tenemos una bonita oportunidad para seguir pegados ahí a los líderes.
Thank you. And our next question to Josue Lopez. Josue, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hola Jesús, un gusto saludarte. Un par de preguntitas. Primero que nada, ¿cuáles son tus características como jugador? ¿Qué es lo que tú vas a traer al equipo defensivamente? Y segundo, ¿cómo has vivido la semana previa al derbi angelino? ¿Qué te han dicho tus compañeros o qué has sentido en la atmósfera en los entrenamientos?
Hola, ¿cómo están? Un partido aparte, como te digo, sabemos que en todas partes del mundo cuando se habla de un partido, un clásico, de un partido aparte, por ahí he preguntado cómo es, lastimosamente ahora no se puede competir con la hinchada, pero sabemos la importancia y lo que es el partido. Nosotros ahora estamos mentalizados en conseguir los 3 puntos, sabemos que necesitamos seguirnos manteniendo arriba, peleando con los de arriba donde merece estar este club. Mis características son ser un jugador rápido, fuerte, o aportarle seguridad en el juego aéreo, por debajo, un liderazgo donde el equipo cuando me necesitar empujar, estar bien parado, acomodar a mis compañeros, creo que son las características que más sobresalen. Igual siempre estoy a la disposición del cuerpo técnico a lo que necesiten, siempre quiero aportar, siempre quiero dar mi granito de arena para los proyectos que se ha trazado el club.
Gracias.
Thank you. And that